Right now, the Phoenix Mercury of the WNBA are taking to the court for the first game since their teammate, Brittney Griner, was sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison. The team released a statement earlier saying, while we knew it was never the legal process that was going to bring our friend home, today's verdict is a sobering milestone in the 168-day nightmare being endured by our sister, BG. It comes after an emotional day in the Moscow courtroom. The judge rejected the wrongfully detained player's final plea for leniency and her apology on charges she brought less than a gram of cannabis oil into the country in February.
I've never meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to put in jeopardy the Russian population. I never meant to break any laws here. I know everybody keeps talking about political pawn and politics, but I hope that that is far from this courtroom. I made an honest mistake, and I hope that in your ruling that it doesn't end my life here.
Griner's lawyers say they plan to file an appeal. Meanwhile, President Biden and Secretary of State Tony Blinken are also speaking out. The president called Brittney's sentence, quote, unacceptable, writing, I call on Russia to release her immediately so she can be with her wife, loved ones, friends, and teammates. The administration is facing growing pressure to reach a deal with Moscow on a prisoner swap. They are reportedly still waiting for a substantive response from the Kremlin to the offer they made in June. Tonight's game started with a powerful 42-second moment of solitude. Both teams huddled together as fans in the stands chanted, bring her home. Joining me now is WNBA player Layshia Clarendon. And Layshia, thank you so much for being here. I wonder what your reaction is. And I don't know if seeing it just now is the first time you've seen Brittney's statements today, but what's your reaction to this sentence?
Heartbreak. I saw the news earlier this morning and just broke down in tears. Although we knew it was coming, it's still sobering every single time you see it and picture BG and see BG over there. Your heart just breaks to know she's been away from her family, her friends, and to know that this league is not the same. So I'm getting a little choked up, honestly, just watching that footage because she means so much to, every single one of us.
Yeah, I want to read a little bit of a statement from Brittney's agent, Lindsay Colas. She tweeted this today. Today's sentencing of Brittney Griner was severe by Russian legal standards and goes to prove what we've known all along, that Brittney is being used as a political pawn. We appreciate and continue to support the efforts of the president and Secretary Blinken to get a deal done swiftly. How hopeful are you and your friends in the WNBA that a deal is going to happen? Because it does feel like a 9-year sentence means that Russia is setting the stakes pretty high.
Yeah, we are very hopeful. I think we have to be for BG, and we're also calling on the entire global sports community, because this isn't only about BG, it's about all of us. I've played in Russia, I've played all over Europe. So many of us travel for competitions. It's our job, it's our livelihood, it's what we do representing our country. So the fact that, someone could be wrongfully detained like this and used, we're just calling on every single person and holding out a lot of hope that we can unite together to get BG home, to get Paul home, to know that this is just about getting two Americans home safely who just need to be back with their family, with their friends. And we're just really holding on to that really closely.
It's not lost on me and on many of us that, the reason that some of you great players in the U.S. travel overseas and play is monetary, that, there is a pay disparity between the NBA and the WNBA. And so a lot of talented players like yourself do go overseas, go to places like Russia and play. And Brittney has made it very clear that she actually also was very much interested in boosting Russian women's basketball. She was doing something for them. She was making their league better. What do you make of, this cannot encourage others to do this. Is the era of people traveling and playing away, particularly in authoritarian states, over?
I think it's definitely questionable in Russia, and it's flooding, I think, a lot more of the other European markets because exactly what you said. We have to go play over there to make money while we can in our prime. And we also are global citizens. So BG cares about Russia. She cares about her team. A lot of these players will sign multi-year contracts to stay with their team because they love it. They're treated well generally. They build relationships. It's just like them playing domestically with their teams. But when your safety becomes threatened and your livelihood, a place that was home where your team always took care of you, traveled you privately, took really good care of you, now you're kind of questioning, what does it look like? What does our safety look like to just move throughout Europe, to move throughout these other places that for so long we could do freely? It's definitely putting in, other players are already not signing back with Russia. So you're going to see different markets start to get flooded.
No, that makes absolutely 100% sense. Layshia Clarendon, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I know this is a difficult night, so thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Cheers. And let's bring in Julia Ioffe, founding partner and Washington correspondent for Puck. And I'll ask you the same question. You know, it definitely feels like this long sentence. The prosecutors had asked for 9.5 years. They gave her 9. Sounds like Russia is saying, no, we're putting these stakes really high. You know, we've seen 3-year sentences for other detainees. You know, this is a long, long sentence.
Absolutely. And I think in part it's because of all the attention we're paying to the case over here in the U.S. Brittney Griner was initially, as soon as she was arrested, a high-value hostage, a high-value prisoner that I think the Russian government understood immediately they could extract a lot from the U.S. government in exchange for her freedom. But now they can get a lot more. And so that's why you saw a 9-year prison sentence instead of probation, instead of even a 6 or 7 year prisons or even 8-year prison sentence. They're cranking up the dial so that they can extract as much as they possibly can from the situation. And according to my administration sources, they are really dragging their feet. They're conveying through various means that they're in no mood to make a deal, that they are taking their sweet time, that they don't care how long this takes, that they're not the ones who really want this, that it's the U.S. who wants this, that it's the U.S. who has to put more and more sweeteners into the deal to get Brittney Griner out. And I would say to your previous guest, you know, even before Russia invaded Ukraine, the State Department put out a notice saying that all Americans should leave Russia. I would really advise against WNBA players going to Russia now, no matter how good the paycheck. It is a really, even before the war, it was a dangerous place to be. And especially now, it is a very dangerous place, no matter how good the money.